two Hondas. Both practical, both reliable, but when it comes to daily life, comfort, and long-term value, they're not equal. On one hand, you've got the CR-V. It's the go-to family SUV, spacious, packed with tech, and available as a hybrid. On the other, there's the HR-V, smaller, simpler, and thousands cheaper. But don't let the size fool you, because depending on how you drive, where you live, or what you actually use your SUV for, the HR-V might make more sense than you think. So today, we're cutting through the confusion. No dealership fluff, no spec sheet overload, just a real-world breakdown of the CR-V versus the HR-V and which one actually fits your life better. We'll start with a full look at the CR-V, what it does best, what you get for your money, and where it stands out in the segment. Then we'll dig into the HR-V and why it's not just a budget alternative, but a smarter option for some buyers. And finally, we'll compare them directly. Performance, features, space, mileage, and give you a clear answer on which one to choose. If you've ever asked yourself, is the CR-V worth the upgrade, or can I live with the HR-V? This video's for you. Let's get into it. Let's start with the CR-V, because this is the one everyone expects to buy. For years, it's been Honda's best-selling SUV, and for good reason. The newest generation pushes things even further. It's longer, wider, more refined, and depending on the trim, feels more like a near-luxury crossover than a basic commuter car. Under the hood, you've got two options. The standard CR-V comes with a 1.5-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine. It's not fast, but it's smooth, quiet, and efficient for daily use. If you want more torque and better mileage, the hybrid version swaps that turbo for a 2.0-liter engine paired with Honda's dual-motor setup. The hybrid is only available on the higher trims, but it's easily the better driving version, especially in traffic or stop-and-go conditions. One trim in particular stands out, the Sport Touring. This is the most expensive CR-V Honda offers, and it shows. You get the hybrid engine, all-wheel drive as standard, a premium 12-speaker Bose audio system, a hands-free power tailgate, wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and Honda's largest infotainment screen at 9 inches. If you're after the fully loaded experience without jumping to a luxury badge, this is it. Interior space is a huge win here too. Rear legroom is excellent, and the cargo area is one of the biggest in the class, especially with the back seats folded down. Families, dog owners, and weekend haulers are all covered. Driving-wise, the CR-V won't blow your mind, but it does everything right. It's smooth, composed, and has a planted feel on the highway. The hybrid version feels especially solid under acceleration, and it's surprisingly quiet even at higher speeds. Fuel economy is another reason this SUV sells in huge numbers. The hybrid gets around 40 miles per gallon in the city, which is near the top of the class. Even the gas-only version does well, especially on longer highway drives. And since this is a Honda, long-term maintenance and reliability are both solid. So who is the CR-V really for? It's the all-rounder, the reliable, roomy, do-it-all SUV that's ready for errands, commuting, family trips, and everything in between. It's not flashy, it's not edgy, but it's easy to live with, easy to drive, and easy to recommend. And for a lot of people, that's exactly what they want. A vehicle they don't have to think twice about, something that'll fit car seats one year and a mountain bike the next, something that just works. But the CR-V's strength, being great at everything, also makes it easy to overlook how much you're really paying for all that space and power. If you don't need all of that, there's another Honda that might make more sense. It's easy to overlook the HR-V, but while everyone's been focused on the CR-V, this little SUV has quietly been leveling up in the background, making it one of the smartest vehicles in Honda's entire lineup. The older HR-V was fine, but it always felt like a Civic in SUV clothing. Small cabin, rough ride, not much power. It existed because the lineup needed a budget option. But the 2023 redesign changed everything. This new HR-V sits on the same platform as the 11th gen Civic. That alone improved the handling, the suspension feel, and the overall structure of the car in a way that's noticeable even on a quick test drive. You're not bouncing around like in the old model, and the steering now actually feels connected to the road. Under the hood, it's a 2-liter 4-cylinder engine paired with a CVT. There's no hybrid option and no turbo, which is honestly a missed opportunity, but it gets the job done. You're not winning drag races in an HR-V, but it handles city traffic, tight turns, and parking lots with ease. The one that's worth looking at, the Sport trim. It adds blacked out styling, bigger wheels, a leather-wrapped steering wheel, and a few upscale touches that make it feel a little more grown up without pushing the price too high. It's the sweet spot between budget and nice. Inside, the HR-V has come a long way. The cabin is clean, minimal, and easy to navigate. You get a standard 7-inch touchscreen, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, physical climate controls, yes, real knobs, and a layout that's surprisingly mature for a subcompact. Honda didn't try to reinvent anything. They just made everything work better. And space? It's not as big as the CR-V, obviously, but the rear seat is usable, even for adults. And the cargo area is more generous than you'd expect. There's no power tailgate, and the seat folding system isn't as slick as the old Magic seats used to be. But for most people, it's more than enough for daily life. Fuel economy is solid too, hovering just under 30 miles per gallon combined depending on whether you go front wheel or all-wheel drive. It's not a hybrid, but it sips fuel gently and doesn't require much to keep running. What stands out about the HR-V is how much more normal it feels now. It doesn't feel like a weird downsized SUV or a stretched out hatchback. It feels like a real car. One that happens to be shaped like a crossover. And for buyers who want something that just works without overthinking it, that's exactly the appeal. So who's it for? The HR-V is perfect for solo drivers, city commuters, college students, and even small families who don't need maxed out cargo space. It's comfortable, simple, and affordable, especially when you compare it to the rising prices of compact SUVs across the board. And if you're the kind of driver who mostly runs errands, grabs groceries, and does weekend trips with 1 or 2 people, you might not need anything more than this. It's not the powerful option, it's not the flashy option, but it's the clever one. The just enough SUV that doesn't pretend to be anything it's not. Now that we've looked at both SUVs on their own, let's put them side by side, category by category, and figure out where each one really shines. Space and practicality, this one goes to the CR-V, no question. It has more rear legroom, more cargo capacity, and more overall volume in every direction. If you've got kids, luggage, dogs, or a lot of weekend gear, the CR-V just makes life easier. That said, the HR-V still holds its own, especially for city parking or smaller garages. It's compact enough to be nimble, but roomy enough to carry real stuff when you need it to. Performance and ride feel, the CR-V wins on power, especially in its hybrid form, where you get more low-end torque and smoother acceleration in traffic. But the HR-V isn't bad. Thanks to its Civic-based platform, it actually handles well for a crossover. It's just not fast. For most people, it comes down to how often you drive with passengers or haul weight. If your daily drive is light and local, the HR-V handles it just fine. Technology and interior features. This one's closer than you'd think. The CR-V offers more, larger screens, better sound systems, wireless charging, and upgraded materials in higher trims. But the HR-V keeps things simple in a good way. It's easy to use, everything's laid out cleanly, and it doesn't try to overwhelm you with menus or buttons. If you like a premium touch, go CR-V. If you just want something intuitive, the HR-V nails the basics. Fuel economy? This depends on the setup. The CR-V hybrid is easily the most efficient of the bunch, with around 40 miles per gallon in the city. If you're doing a lot of commuting or live in traffic-heavy areas, it's a smart long-term choice. The gas-only CR-V and the HR-V land fairly close. The HR-V does slightly better around town, but the difference isn't huge. For most drivers, the hybrid option is what makes the biggest gap. Pricing and value? Here's where things split. The CR-V is more expensive, especially in hybrid and upper trims like the Sport Touring. You're paying for more features, more space, and better long-term flexibility. The HR-V, on the other hand, offers real value. It undercuts the CR-V by thousands and still delivers a solid daily driver with just enough tech and comfort. If your budget is tight or you're buying your first SUV, the HR-V makes a lot of sense. So how do you choose? If you've got a growing family, drive long distances, or want something that can handle big errands and big passengers, the CR-V is the better fit. It's versatile, efficient, and built to cover more ground. But if you live in the city, commute light, or just want a smart, affordable SUV that doesn't try to be too much, the HR-V is hard to beat. It's simple, comfortable, and surprisingly refined. Both are reliable, both are practical, but which one fits your life better? That's the only thing that really matters. Here's the bottom line. The CR-V is the better SUV, on paper. It's bigger, stronger, more feature-packed, and available as a hybrid. It's the right choice for families, long-distance commuters, or anyone who needs more space, more power, or more flexibility. But the HR-V isn't here to compete on size or horsepower. It's here to be smart. And for a lot of people, especially first-time buyers, city drivers, or anyone trying to keep costs low, it might be exactly what you need. There's no wrong answer here, just two different versions of the Honda SUV formula, one that covers all the bases and one that keeps things simple. Pick the one that fits your life. And skip the dealership confusion.